if a client tells me, I would have never in a million years thought of doing that, and then, they love it, then I know I've done my job. Hey everyone, this is Design Crash Course.
I'm Travis Neely.
I'm Phara Queen.
We're degreed interior designers, and we're passionate about helping people better understand what interior design is.
And more importantly, what it isn't.
All while having some fun along the way.
So let's just go right into it. It's Monday. What'd you do over the weekend? Anything fun?
Well, I actually took some days off, so that's a little strange for me.
Yeah.
You and I both on Friday night went out with some clients and had a really great time.
Yeah, that was fun.
And
till it wasn't. Dear diary. No, kidding.
Well, you got to say something more than that, or it's going to sound like we didn't like our clients.
Well, we talked about this. Okay, so, cocktails were had, and then cocktails exited my body at 2 a.m. I don't know. I think it's the combo of maybe cocktails and dairy. So, yeah. Note to self. Anyway, that's TMI.
But we can't have it sounding like we don't like our clients.
No.
Yeah, no,
it was fun.
We had a really fantastic time. They're fabulous people.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Saturday, I worked on getting the house ready because we had a couple of guys over to play some games.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Good.
And then Sunday, I did nothing.
I did the yard. So,
speaking of the yard,
yes,
give us a squirrel update.
Squirrel update. He no longer is doing his one-man Cirque du Soleil act, trapezing down from the roof of the bird feeder onto the feed itself. But we had to put a slinky on the pole, which actually is working, unless he catapults himself over the backyard now, and that won't be a good thing. But he's not on the pole anymore. He's just down below on the ground, which is where I wanted him to be to begin with. But we worked in the yard a lot. But yeah, Grandma is a little bit sore today. Things ain't like they used to be.
That's true.
So yeah, that was our weekend. But yours sounds way funner.
We had a good time.
Or more fun, I should say. So anyway, for today, I think we're going to answer some burning questions that we've received and let y'all in on a little bit about us and how we think and what we think and all that. So the first question, let me look over here on my cheat sheet. What's the wildest thing that's ever happened on a job site? Travis?
Oh boy. There have been some very intriguing moments. Let's think. The wildest one. Do you have anything in mind?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and share and I'll come up with a good one.
Okay, well, this happened. It wasn't technically on a job site, but I was working. But I went to the very first time I went to Round Top was, I think, in 2014. And I was working for Miranda Lambert, and we were doing her boutique bed and breakfast that was called the Lady Smith. But she couldn't go to Round Top, so it was me and a couple of other people. I think she had to go to the CMAs or the Grammys, or I don't know where something like that. But anyway, I was looking at all the things, doing all the things, had my phone in my back pocket, and I went to use the restroom in a porta potty. And guess where my phone landed? In the porta potty.
I'm sensing a theme today.
I know. So, it landed on a soft, pillowy bed of toilet paper. Well, it happened, and then I had to pee so bad, so I just peed on my own phone. I'm just going to put it out there. It just happened. But it was on a soft, pillowy bed of toilet paper, so I reached in and got it out of the porta potty. And one of my friends was standing outside the porta potty and heard what had happened, and she's out there cracking up, of course. But I had to have my phone. Round Top, Texas is in the middle of nowhere. I couldn't not be without my phone. I'm there for a client, and I'm there spending their money, so it's not like I can be like, thanks, you won't hear from me, but I'm spending all your money. No, I had to. So had it been not on a soft, pillowy bed, had it been, a couple of inches over, I wouldn't have done it. But it was my own, so it happened. But here's something funny that I exited the porta potty, and my friend goes in, and I'm just kind of standing there going, what the actual hell?
Everybody take a drink.
Time to take a drink. But there was a car parked next to the porta potty, and there were people inside, and they had their windows down because it was hot, and they heard everything that had happened. So I look over at her. It was a girl in the passenger seat, and I look over at her, and she just kind of like hands me a full bottle of hand sanitizer. And she says, and it was really good. She said, that gives a whole new meaning to shitty reception. So I wiped the hell out of my phone and took the cover off and threw it away. And yeah, that's probably the wildest thing that's ever happened to me. Related to our job.
I don't know that I can top that.
Hopefully you shouldn't be able to top that, because that's bad. It's crazy.
I think one of the weirdest things that I've ever had to deal with on the job site, we were doing a walkthrough with a client, and the client had snot dripping a little bit down from their nose the entire time. And I probably should have said something, but I didn't really know how to say something. It was an hour and a half that we were doing this walkthrough, and there was just snot dribbling right there. It was intriguing.
Were you kind of like my grandma would sit on the sofa and would literally smoke an entire cigarette without ever flicking the ash. But I always remember I was like with my hands, like, were you like that the whole time?
No, I kept my distance. Okay. I was like, I don't know what you have, but I don't want it.
From a distance. Okay, those are good answers, I think. You can do some crazy stuff on job sites.
Yes.
Okay, what are our take on trends? Hated it.
We often tell our clients that trends are definitely not something we follow.
Yeah.
You can make a timeless interior that is perfect for the client, that they're super excited about, that has nothing to do with, what's happening on TikTok or Instagram or HGTV or any of those places. Not that there's anything wrong with trends, but that's just not something we follow.
No, because if you follow trends on a regular basis and you feel that, it's something that you have to take to heart and change, you're going to be doing that nonstop in your house. These headphones are driving me crazy. I must adjust. I feel like Princess Leia and Jailhouse Rock. What the hell? Never wear stripes again. But, if you follow trends, you're just going to be changing your house up for forever, which is, if you want to do that, fine. But I think you should just buy what you love, because if you love it, chances are you're going to love it for a really long time. And I kind of also think that, there's a big box store that shall remain nameless, that there's a reason there's like all of these holidays where you have to send something in the mail. I think it's perpetuated for that reason. And I think trends are that way too. so.
Yeah, I agree. We don't really follow them at all.
No.
Obviously, some of them come and stay for too long, and we're really ready for them to die when they finally die. But I've also kind of always thought that I don't know that I would ever want to be defined by a specific design style.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we would try to press that on our clients so that they can say they have, boho or farmhouse chic or whatever. We like to push beyond those boundaries. And sure, it can, if that's what they're really wanting, we can use that as a springboard, but take them even further and always end up with I never thought it could look this good.
Oh, no, my favorite. I mean, if you're still digging Subway, do Subway. Think about putting it on vertically instead of horizontally and taking a more modern approach to it.
Laying it straight instead of brick laid.
Yeah. But now if you're still doing shiplap or you still have like live, laugh, love on your wall, just unfollow me now. I mean, just do it. That trend is done. Over and done. Okay, so what's the biggest bang for my DIY buck? Man, these are bugging me today.
Biggest bang for the DIY buck. Well, one of the things we talked about in the first episode was lighting, light bulbs. Yeah. You can do a major change without spending a fortune with your lighting. So that's my first one. What do you think, Phara?
Mine would be pillows.
Yeah.
I would say peel and stick wallpaper or pillows. If you're afraid to make a commitment to wallpaper and that just scares you too much pattern or whatever, then bring the pattern onto a sofa or a chair or both. If you kind of need to dip your toe into the pattern, then that's an easy way to do it.
Yeah, pillows are definitely a great way to do it, for sure. Finding fun accessories that, and when I say fun, they're like, I've had it said before when people would walk through my home, where do you find this stuff? And the answer was typically, well, if I go into a store, the thing that sticks out to me is the weird thing that's like, well, that's cool. Yeah. What would I do with that? I need it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I have a huge philosophy of buy the weird stuff. I mean, if you walked into my house, like ginormous, oversized plastic puzzle pieces are artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not for everybody, but it is for me. And guess what? It's my house.
And you can do one or two things like that become statement pieces. It's always great to have a conversation piece in your house so that you have a story behind it. And if you don't have a good story behind it, make one up.
All right, next. Something that annoys you.
Something that annoys me. Okay, well, I will have to admit, this is something that I don't necessarily care to admit, and the only reason I don't care to admit it is because it happens too often and you would think I would learn from it. When I am making my bed, there are the charger cords are always kind of hanging down because you've just unplugged your phone, and I don't always tuck them back in immediately. Every single time they catch my foot, and I either yank it out of the wall or fall on my face onto the bed while I'm trying to make it. And it happens way more frequently than I would care to admit.
I don't know how to answer this question because there are so many things that annoy me.
I can vouch for that.
I don't know. I mean, other than people that call themselves an interior designer without a degree, I would have to say one of my biggest pet peeves is if you make a mistake, own it and move on. It drives me insane when somebody tries to blame it on somebody else, or, if I make a mistake, I'm going to own it.
And we do come across that a lot on job sites where one trade screws something up, but they didn't get caught. And so everyone's blaming everybody else for whatever the screw up is.
Yeah.
And that's not fun for the client. That's not fun for anyone to have to deal with.
No, that's not cost efficient
Right.
for sure for the client. But yeah, I mean, are mistakes going to be made?
Of course.
Of course. So move it or admit it, move on.
Agreed.
Okay, next. Oh, why do you say every room needs a little black? Well, I say that, so I'll answer.
I agree with your answer already. So,
what was that? Weird. Did you hear that? Okay. I say it because it's a good grounding color for things in the room, especially if you have a lot of pattern. It just grounds the eye. I also say, everybody's like, well, if you paint a room black, it's going to look small. I disagree because it blurs the corners, so it makes the room look bigger. Those are the two main reasons I say it. What about you?
Well, I agree with you completely. I love the fact that it anchors a room. It gives contrast. Contrast is always something that you want in a space so that it doesn't all blend and become unexciting. And there again, back on the lighting kick, if you have adequate lighting, you can paint a room anything you want to paint it, especially black.
Yeah.
And black rooms are gorgeous. Our entire office is black. I mean, we have a lot of other stuff going on too, but the walls are all black.
And we have black drapes behind us.
Yes, we do.
I say a little room needs black because I always, when I travel, will take something black because every hotel bathroom is white. And hello, I've got white hair. I can't see my hair to fix it, so I have to hang something black behind me over the door.
That's why we have black curtains behind us.
It's true. Otherwise, it'd look just like lips moving on the video. You wouldn't be able to. I just would disappear. All you'd see is the Cheshire cat, two eyes and a grin. It's true. So what? Well, I think we're done with the questions.
So that means we need more.
That was fun.
Yeah, we need more questions.
What we kind of talked about this the other day, but we'll talk about it on here. A favorite find is Oklahoma City has, what's it called? Walk Your Plans?
Yes, Walk Your Plans OKC. Super cool company. And actually, I believe when I looked it up, there were about 27 of them across the United States so far. They're, I believe, a franchise. But what it is, it's a large, I guess it probably depends on the location, but kind of a large room or a large warehouse space that's just open. And they project life-size plans, floor plans from your architect, onto the floor so that you can actually walk the spaces and see, the entryway is too small, or wow, our stairs don't really need to be 6 feet wide. Let's go a little smaller, or, whatever. It gives you the opportunity to be able to experience that in a way that changes can be inexpensive, because it's way cheaper to make changes on paper than it is once things start getting built and you have to tear it out and rebuild it.
Well, while you were talking, not that I wasn't paying attention, but as I glanced back over at my list of questions, one of them was, where'd it go? When should you hire an interior designer?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think we're both very much on the same page on this. As early as you can.
Yes.
The earlier they can get involved in a job, the much better off you're going to be. There again, because it's much less expensive to make changes on paper, and the designer can help you go through the plans and figure out whether or not you have enough space for the type of furniture that's going to be specified and things like that. So the earlier the better, no matter what your project is, whether it's a new build, if it's a remodel, the earlier the better. To get a professional designer involved.
Yeah. And I think that Walk Your Plans is genius because most people are very visual. especially our clients, I find, are extremely visual.
Yeah, where our brains work at 1/4-inch scale on regular plans,
Yeah.
most people's don't.
Yeah.
So I think it is a really, really great tool.
So if we had the ability to walk the plans with a client, I mean, I think that would solve a lot of problems.
I agree.
Especially in the beginning. But definitely you should, if you've hired an architect, your next move should be to hire an interior designer.
Get the team pulled together as quickly as possible. That way
Mhm.
the designer and the architect can work hand in hand in making sure that you're getting what you really need.
Yeah. Or even, if you've hired a builder,
Mhm.
you've already got plans. If you've hired a builder, your next move should be to hire an interior designer, because more often than not, their wife is not one. I'm just going to put that out there. Which goes back to, what does that annoy me? No. True. But yeah. So even back to the question of what's your biggest bang for your DIY buck, hire a designer.
That's true.
Even if you want to hire an interior designer or a decorator, a decorator can give you some, and I say decorator because that's somebody that doesn't have their interior design degree generally, but they're very proficient, and I'm not over here saying that people that call themselves a designer aren't talented. Most of the ones I know are extremely talented. So, even if you wanted to hire a decorator to help with your DIY, what's it called? What was the question? Biggest bang for my DIY buck. They could help you, do a mood board, give you shoppable links if you didn't want to do it yourself. So,
or at least give you
my 2 cents.
Give you a mood board that sends you on the path to do what it is that you're wanting to do, so you can do it yourself.
Yeah. So, I don't think we have anything else.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we have a call to action.
Oh, yes.
Man, I'm glad this piece of paper is sitting here today on Monday, because my brain is not engaged fully. We want to end with a call to action. So, obviously, since we were talking about it in the very beginning of the segment, we like a cocktail.
Yes, we do.
So, is there anybody out there that's a mixologist, likes to come up with drinks, can come up with a catchy name? We need one for our podcast. So, if you're interested in that.
That way we have what we need to sip whenever Phara says, what the hell?
Yeah, because that's the thing. That's the game. Whenever I say that, you're supposed to take a drink. Well, at least Travis anyway. But so if anybody out there is interested in doing that for us, we would love it. Should be kind of like fruity and refreshing like Travis.
Perfect.
And dark and moody like my soul. So yeah. Hit us up. DM
Fantastic.
us.
Also, please remember, we need your ratings, reviews, and subscriptions. You can find us on the YouTube channel. We are also on Instagram at Design Crash Course and at Neely Queen Design. Listen and subscribe on Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and remember, every room needs a little black, and now you know why.
Perfect.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Oops, gotta stop.